Everyone, the moment of truth. So we have almost a complete system. I am going to do a segment on how to do like cross bracing and stuff like that, and how to change lists, which Yvonne is now a master of. So if you need it before Thursday or Tuesday of next week, you can ask her. But what we're going to do here is assume that this is our completed truss without the cross webbing. We're going to pipe them with basically just structural tubing for now, and then we're going to apply this to the entire building. So let's get started. This particular segment right here is all of our curves, all of them. So we can do a few things to collect all the relevant information and then create a pipe system with it. First and foremost, all of these lines are all of our cross bracing elements, and they're generally going to be a smaller diameter than the struts that go around the whole thing. So I'm going to collect all of those using merge. So I'll go to set, tree, and merge. I don't have to do this. It's just something I like to do to basically just have a singular node that's going to allow me to move the wires around like that. Okay, so I merged all these together, and now it's a set of lists. And simply enough, I just go to surface and I go to pipe, plug that in, and then I define a radius for it. In fact, the one that's on there looks kind of all right, but I'm going to put a slider on there anyway. I'm going to say 0 to 2.00. I know 2 feet radius is like gigantic, but let's do something that looks kind of like that. Okay, pretty thin. Well, we can go a little thicker, something like that. Okay, and lastly, I think I am going to do round caps. It just, should it ever be visible, it makes it a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to drop a param on there for the value of 2. All right, so that created triangular frames. Now I just need to grab the other rails. Okay, so there are a few ways you can do it. You can do one curve for the whole thing, or you can grab each individual curve. I'm talking about for that whole bow that goes around the system. Or you can do each individual one. I think the way I'm probably going to do it is to just insert the reference in here and just start plugging them all in, whichever ones are relevant. So I'll go to set, tree, merge. And what I need are both ridges, so I'm going to grab system A ridge and system B ridge. I'm going to need both arcs that are generated, and so those are going to be, those are just the center points, merge, interpolate curves. That's going to be these interp curves of either system. So yank that one down a little bit, whoops, grab that. Yank this system up a little bit. And I'm going to grab interpolate curve, interpolate curve, interpolate curve, and interpolate curve. Okay, do you have to do this way? Do this way? No, you don't. It's just, I decided it'd be easy for me to break it apart this way and just kind of shove it right there in the center. So that's going to be the same thing. I can just grab another pipe, copy paste, pull it back here, and replace that connection, just like that. All right, these are going to be a little bit thicker, so I'll bump those up to something that looks a little bit like that. And now we're, generally speaking, off to the races. Okay, what did we do? Right, we created a complete idea for a complete system, right? It's how did I reference this before? A two-sided system? I had a clever word for it, but whatever. Anyway, so this is based off of, if you trace this whole idea all the way back, I'm going to group this for you. You're going to love this, guys, right? I'm going to make it a little special color, like gold. Gold is pretty special. All right, so there's everything we did to create that truss. Okay, and it'll grow later, but that's it. That's the whole idea. So all of that is based simply off of two surfaces. So what's the fastest way for me to apply this to all of my surfaces? What do you think?
Something matrix? Not matrix,
You're overcomplicating it. You could do it that way, probably. The surface input?
Yeah, change the surface input to the B-rep.
You don't have to change it to the B-rep. I'll show you it this way. So these references are already tied. Base facade 1 and base facade 2. Okay? The cool thing about these params is they are just empty housings for information. So even though I called it base facade 1 and base facade 2, it doesn't have to be base facade 1 and base facade 2. It can also be base facade 2 and base facade 3. The fastest way to get there is to copy this and make it a separate connector. So I'll copy and paste, pull this back, pull these back, and then these now become facade A and facade B. Okay? So why is that important? Well, I can take facade 1 and facade 2, and they're isolated now, right? It's the same information, so nothing changed. But if I take this whole section and I make a copy of it, okay, and then I borrow this information here, I kind of slide it down, and rather than facade 1 and facade 2, I plug in facade 2 and facade 3, you'll see a pretty special thing. But, warning, don't do it until you lock the solver. Because if you've got these things cross-referencing the wrong surfaces, you're going to get some really crazy geometry that you don't want. So what I suggest is lock the solver, plug in facade 2 and facade 3, then unlock the solver. And it'll calculate the other side. Similarly, we paste again, pull it down, borrow the same information. Okay, lock that solver. Now we're going to do facade 3 and facade 4. Unlock. Now you've got the other side. And finally, paste another one. And here we're going to do, we have to go back to the beginning here. So I'm going to lock the solver again. And I'm going to start with facade 4 and go back to facade 1. Okay, so now we have that structural system winding its way up the exterior of the building. That's all of those right there. And let me turn my massing back on. That's these, I think. Okay. Pretty nifty, right, so far? So after we go through the process of applying the surface split to all of our facades, we'll get, not that one actually, this one. Okay, so we're going to go through the process of developing really special facade systems that are going to integrate with this. So ultimately, we'll have some really intense structures. So just to very simply look at the structure itself, let me turn on some of our applicable geometry here. So I'm going to bake this one. You guys don't have to do this. I'm just doing this so you can see it. So I'll bake this one out, layer 1. Bake this one to layer 2. I will bake, let's see, all of these pipes. You might want to use merge to collect these if you're going to bake them frequently, but all of those can get baked out to, oh, did it default? Oh, it looks like it defaulted. Oh well. So anyway, I'll go back into Rhino here, but all this stuff goes off. Now I've got my structure in Rhino. Pretty intense, right? So what questions do you have? Huh?
Crazy stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, the facade right now is not interesting. But what I want to get you thinking about is understanding how to map systems into your overall structure, right? So don't think about the building as just one system. Think about being able to cross-reference different systems, layering them, having, you know, either structure or facade or floor plates, all as separate elements that you can modify independent of one another. Okay? All right, so with that, I'd like you to get caught up if you can. Oh, there is one more thing I want to show you, and I think, well, no, I don't want to show you that yet. Never mind. I'll leave it at this for now.